Welcome to the Maximize Man podcast. I'm Clark Bartram. You are awesome. So if you've been tuning in and listening, first and foremost, thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate it. And the information that I'm sharing with you certainly can be life-changing if you're going through any of what I've been going through lately. And that's honestly my goal, is to just provide value to you in the sense of whatever comes out of my mouth, I want it to affect you in a positive way. I could really care less about me and promoting, Clark Bartram systems and all of that. But with that being said, I would be foolish if I didn't let you know that, there's a link on here somewhere where you can click on it for my coaching, because all of this stuff comes together. So in the last episode, I talked a little bit about my journey of discovering the fact that I have prostate cancer, at least now, and I will get rid of it. And I'm learning how to get rid of it. But there's so much more I could talk about with that. But what I want to talk about today is the fact that I want every man in the United States of America to check it like a man. And that is the title in the name of my nonprofit organization. My 501(c) is called Check It Like a Man. I talked about the fact that blood work and having my PSA checked in my blood work was what helped me uncover the fact that I am walking around with cancer in my body. And I had been doing that maybe for a year or two prior to knowing it, because it's a slow growing cancer. And my radiologist, who I've been consulting with, said, Clark, there's a really good chance you've been walking around with this for a long time. So with that being said, there is an opportunity for you to find out whether or not there's anything going on that needs to be checked. Because again, the numbers are 1 in 7 men will get a cancer diagnosis of the prostate. Black men get it more than white men do. And the reason they say for that is simply due to lifestyle. And I don't really know exactly, but those are some of the things that I heard listed off, like lifestyle and environment, just different things. But again, that doesn't matter. What matters is asking yourself, when was the last time I had my PSA checked? Now, with respect to insurance and all of that, here's what I'm learning, man. The insurance companies are going to do the least amount of stuff that they can. And what I found is anytime I called my doctor and said, hey, I want a testosterone check, they would always push back and go, why do you want your testosterone checked? Because I want it checked. What does it matter to you? So they're protecting, I guess, in a way, like these insurance companies from spending more money on things that aren't necessary. Again, this is all hypothetical talk leading me into the fact that what I did with respect to getting you the test you need, in addition to creating this nonprofit organization, of which I'm doing a documentary on my process. I'm creating an awareness campaign that every man needs to get checked. When do you need to get checked? Today. It doesn't matter, because the standards and all of the stuff that the standard of care would come up with, they would give you these graphs. Well, if you're 45 and you're at risk, and if you're a black man, you need to get it at this age, or if your dad had it, or if you don't, get it at this age. Why not just get it checked and get that off the list of things that you don't need to be concerned with? Because if 1 in 7 men are going to get this, when you're walking down the street, count them. Every man that passes by, and go, him, me, whatever it is. Because the reality is, most men, we all have a cancer in our body. We all have cancer in our body. It's a matter of whether or not our immune system is going to be strong enough to fight it off long enough. But you're either going to die with prostate cancer from it or in your body, and it didn't affect you at all. So get it checked, man. And whether or not PSA is the perfect vehicle to get it checked, I think most intelligent medical professionals will agree on some level that it can't hurt. It can't hurt at all. So here's what I did. In addition to this desire that I have for every single man to get it checked, I always ask myself, well, what's the next best move? I created a kit. I created an in-home test kit. Now, this is the women's kit because the men's are going like crazy. But this kit right here is at home. There's going to be a link on the show notes for you here, because here are the excuses that I've heard men make. I don't have the time. My insurance won't cover it. I can't get out of work. I don't have the money. Whatever the reasoning is behind you not getting it checked like a man, it's bullshit. This is easy, private, and convenient. It says it right here on the box. And in addition to PSA, there are other markers on here: HDL, LDL, the ratios between the two, liver enzymes, testosterone levels, free and total, sex hormone binding globulin, cortisol. There are other things in here that we should all test, probably, I'm guessing, every 6 months, because of the world that we live in. This thing, I think I'm selling it for like $175. I was doing my Zoom call the other day, and one of my guys got his test, and he is 75 years old. He's on Medicare and all that sort of stuff. And his insurance company, well, actually, his doctor didn't even bring up the fact that he should have had his PSA checked. And he's proactive enough to where he did it, and he got my kit. He bought it on my birthday as a gift to me. He's like, hey, I want to buy that, and a gift to himself. And he took it to his doctor. And the doctor said that kit right there, the blood test that you're getting in that kit, would have cost the insurance company $700. So we know they mark stuff up like crazy, but that's beside the point. You can get it in your home. You prick your finger, 6 drops of blood onto a card. It separates out the blood plasma. I am in the lab myself personally watching these things get done. I go in the lab every Monday monitoring my own PSA to make sure what I'm currently doing for my situation is at least at bay. And if it's going up, I know to take more action. But anyway, tell you the story about that. I was in the gym right around the time I got the diagnosis, and I'm talking to a buddy of mine who was actually on the podcast, John Deddy, the drummer for Slayer. You remember him? He introduced me to his friend, Bart Pichula, who has U.S. Specialty Labs. He's one of the executives there at U.S. Specialty Labs. They are the lab. They do testing for all of the big centers and hospitals and stuff. You go in there and they have multi-millions of dollars worth of testing equipment. But he said, hey, Clark, this is my buddy Bart. He owns U.S. Specialty Labs. I'll probably bring him on here at some point because he is definitely someone we want to talk about. Maybe you've seen him on my Instagram. But he's like, yeah, I got these new test kits that I just came out with. I was like, let's get it done. I went to his office that day. We got this done, branded, set up, and men are buying these because they understand how important it is. So how serendipitous was that meeting? Is that a God thing? Was that meant to happen? Was I meant to be on this quest of getting every man checked? I believe so. So the 501(c), Check It Like a Man, the test kits, all of this stuff is available so you don't have an excuse anymore. Because the reality is this: you owe it to your family. You should listen to your wife. And again, if my wife was here, she'd be going, yeah, I told you. But they are out for our best interest. But the man, the alpha, the driven, and even if you don't like label yourself like that, we just get busy. Stuff gets in the way. We don't want to do that. We don't like needles. This is as effective as any blood test you will get anywhere, period. It's facts. Like, this is not something, and that woman that had that 1 drop of blood will test for all of, this is not that. This is not that. There's a card. You prick your finger, you drop 6 drops of blood into a little square. It separates out the blood plasma on a graph. There are 2 of those little blocks, so you put like 12 drops of blood. You let it dry, you ship it back to the lab. They reconstitute it, put it in, and I actually know how to run the blood test. And it's very, very efficient. It will tell us what we need to know, and you'll have all of these numbers available to you. And then what we do with that is we keep it in a file, basically a digital file, that you will be able to see each time what the numbers are, how you're trending. Because if you're not getting data, there's really no way to discover or fix things that are going on. So let me talk about data here a little bit as it relates to the process that I'm going through. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode. But we are looking at data from all of my blood work. The doctor that I'm working with currently with my situation has data mined every single blood test that I've ever had, dating way back before I even remember taking them. They went in to a database, they mined all of this information, and we are going through all of what we are seeing, not only in my PSA, but with my testosterone, my estrogen, estradiol, all of these different hormones that play in to prostate cancer. Having this information, basically what I'm trying to say is having this information available to you in the event you need it in the future for something like I'm going through is absolutely priceless. It's priceless, because if you are one of the 7 men and you do not let your anxiety dictate your treatment, and you're going through a process like I'm going through of discovery and diagnostic, you will be grateful that you have invested $175 into blood tests that they can look back months, years in my case, to see trends, to look at this data and put all of that information together and go, this is what we see, this is what we recognized, and this is what we recommend as it relates to treatment. Because cancer is a symptom. Let me give you this analogy. It's the best one I've heard. You're driving down the street in your car, your check engine light comes on. That's warning you of something that's happening that is not that red light. The check engine light's not the problem. So if you, because you were angry, you were anxious or whatever, you grabbed the nearest thing, say there was a hammer next to you, and you grab that hammer and you smash that check engine light on your dash, that wouldn't handle the problem. Certainly you can cut out cancer, you can radiate cancer, you can hormone deprive the cancer. There's all of these different things that are coming out, and it seems to be trending like every 5 years, that are dealing with that check engine light, the symptom, when the underlying issue is under the hood. And any good mechanic will go in and they'll typically have a machine that they could hook up, or a very skilled mechanic who can look and do a diagnostic and lead back to the core of the problem. Oh, we found this spark plug. We found this electronics. We found this battery, or whatever the situation might be that led to the warning sign that said, there's something going on here that needs to be handled. Get it handled. Most people, in my opinion, from where I sit now in this seat with the understanding that I have, are letting their anxiety control the type of treatment that they're getting, and they deal with the symptom. So if you remove the symptom and don't deal with what caused the symptom, even with that symptom gone, there is still something happening under the hood or in your body that could potentially bring it out. So I'm not saying don't do standard of care, and I'm not saying go homeopathic or holistic. What I'm saying is understand what's going on in your body, and I might take a dual way of treating my cancer where I'm using standard of care or typical allopathic medicine, doctors in white coats and stethoscopes, with what they have, radiation and all of the different great tools that they have that are, thank God for that stuff, right? But I might mix that with some other things, which I've already done that. There are supplements that I'm taking. There are workouts that I'm doing. There are foods that I'm eating and eliminating from my life. And here's something else that I want to talk about with relation to well-intended people and all of the information that you'll be getting. If you, in fact, find yourself having tested your PSA and gone down the path that I went down, it starts with the PSA, but there will be a bunch of well-intended people in your life who will start sending you messages of eat this fruit, drink this drink, do this, do that, all of these anecdotal treatments that might be good in and of themselves for something else, but just because the catechins or whatever in green tea work for somebody else's cancer, and that's a natural method and less invasive than radiation, just because those things worked for somebody else, if I don't understand what's going on in my body, metabolically, hormonally, genetically, that's all anecdotal. I'm equally throwing shit at a wall, hoping it sticks, if I don't understand why that created something in my body, created cancer or allowed the cancer to grow, because it's there in all of us. So please understand two things in this episode. One, check it like a man. The link's in the show notes. And two, be thoughtful about your process in the event you do this. It's very, very important that you're just not willy-nilly doing things because a doctor has great Yelp reviews or whatever, and that seems like a good way to go, because this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and every single person on both sides of the fence, whether it's standard of care, homeopathic, holistic, me too. I'm selling you a kit. Like, I'm now in the profit margin of this billion-dollar industry. Okay? Understand this. Everybody is going to sell you their thing because they're so convinced that their thing is the right thing, and thank God for that. Thank God that people are so convinced that what they're doing is the right way to go, but your anxiousness or anxiety in their ability to sell their modality, in your belief because you're wanting to get it done because you think you're going to die, is not the way to go. Not a doctor, not playing one, but what I'm saying is be smart about this. If you know anyone in your life that's going through this, the last thing you want to do is throw information at them to confuse them even more, because if they're smart, they're doing their own research and they're absorbing this information in the best way they know how. I'm going to leave you with this thought. Years ago, I was doing a course from a really, really smart guy by the name of Paul Chek. It was called Scientific Back and Abs. And I'm reading this course, and this quote from him really is helping me right now in this process of learning all of these new words and new things. I'm going through this course and I was overwhelmed. I couldn't get the information and I felt so stupid. I felt so inferior. I just felt like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to forget the course. And I looked on the course notes and it had his number, and I thought, I'm just going to give this guy a call. He's a friend now, but he didn't know me from Adam back then. I called him up. I said, hey, my name's Clark Bartram. I'm doing your Scientific Back and Abs. I'm having a really hard time. I don't think I can learn this stuff. And he said, Clark, listen, we learn in layers. You'll get it when you get it. And when you get it, you'll know you got it. And one day I was doing an exercise, and all of what I had read in that book that I didn't think I understood all made sense to me when I was doing an exercise that he explained in very smart, intellectual terms that I wasn't understanding at the time. Well, when I was operating in real life, it made total sense to me. And that's where I'm at now with this process that I'm going through. I'm operating in real life. I'm in this, man. And the stuff that I'm learning, I never thought I would have to learn. I never thought I could learn. But hopefully you're sitting here going, damn, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about here a little bit, and it makes sense. And the thing that makes the most sense is for you to click on the link and get this test kit sent to your house today. And also, with respect to my 501(c), there's a link here where you can, if you're into donating money to a good cause, this is a good cause. I need help. I need people to help me fund this process, because there's a lot that goes into what we're doing in creating. Again, I'm documenting the whole process. Literally, I'm sneaking my phone into doctor's appointments, and I have very basic video footage of me getting getting the diagnosis and getting the biopsies, and you'll see things wherever this documentary ends up. You'll see things that you would never see anywhere else, because that's the guy I am. I don't care. I have no filter. I don't have any ego that doesn't allow me to have you see me shitting in the desert when I drove 6 hours one way and 6 hours back in the same day to go get this diagnostic done. Like, I want you to see everything, but this costs money. So if you are looking to invest somewhere, I'm going to be using a lot of this money too to invest into platforms and companies that have given me comfort in my process. So it will be well invested into things that, you know, that if your business or you personally donate to this Check It Like a Man foundation that I have, it will go to good things. So anyway, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Get the test kit. And as always, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching the Maximize Man podcast, and make it a great day.